Success runs in the family. Not everyone. That's what my sister Elena posted for the world to see, tagged me right under it, and smiled like she'd just crowned herself queen of the family empire. The photo? Elena, in a sharp designer suit, cutting the ribbon on her 7th boutique. A sparkling crowd of local dignitaries and influencers cheered behind her. Hundreds of likes were pouring in. Comments praised her brilliance, her drive, her unstoppable rise, and buried among them were the words that made my chest tighten. Unlike some people who are content with ordinary jobs, I stared at the glowing screen in my office, surrounded not by champagne flutes or ribbon-cutting cameras, but by financial reports and spreadsheets stacked like bricks. The fire in my stomach wasn't jealousy, it was recognition. Recognition that my sister had just turned my silence, my support, my years of sacrifice into her victory lap. Because what no one in that Instagram crowd knew was the truth. Elena's so-called empire wasn't funded by her hustle alone. Every lease she signed, every marketing campaign, every shelf of merchandise came from me. Me, the sister she mocked in public for playing it safe. I'd built my fortune quietly, brick by brick, while Elena built her image loudly. And for years, I let her believe the spotlight was hers alone. I never asked for credit. I never demanded recognition. I just wanted her to succeed. But that post, that smug little caption that turned me into her cautionary tale, that was the spark. At 9:47 p.m., I typed a single message to my accountant: terminate all partnership agreements with Elena's boutiques, effective immediately, full withdrawal, $75 million. The silence of the room seemed to pulse around me. In that moment, I knew I was rewriting the story she'd been telling the world, and this time she wouldn't see the ending coming. Before we dive deeper into this unraveling storm, I want to hear from you. Have you ever been underestimated, or worse, erased by someone close to you? Drop your story in the comments, hit that subscribe button, and like this video so more people can see what happens when hidden power finally speaks out. Because trust me, what comes next will shock you. Elena always thought she was the visionary, the hustler, the golden child destined to dazzle the world with her boutiques. And the family believed it too. They applauded her every move like it was preordained success. Meanwhile, I was cast in the role of the steady one, the practical sister with a safe paycheck, a modest apartment, and a life too boring to brag about at family dinners. Nobody asked about my work. Nobody cared what I was building. To them, I was a shadow. But shadows see everything. While Elena launched her first boutique with a $15,000 loan from our parents, I was already investing in emerging markets. While she ordered her first racks of dresses, I was negotiating 6-figure deals in real estate. By the time she proudly opened her second store, I'd quietly crossed $50 million in managed assets. I didn't flaunt it. I didn't post champagne photos or cut ribbons with gold scissors. I kept my mouth shut and my head down, because power, real power, grows in silence. So when Elena came to the so-called big leagues, seeking capital for expansion, I was ready. She pitched her heart out, not knowing the investors across the table were shell companies I controlled. She thought she'd won over strangers with her charm and her decks. In reality, she'd just convinced me, her ordinary sister. Over 3 years, I funneled $75 million into Elena's boutiques. Inventory, marketing, lease guarantees, payroll. Every glamorous Instagram photo she posted was financed by the sister she called risk-averse. Every headline about her success was stamped with my silent investment. And I never told her. Because I wanted her to win. Because I thought family meant helping, even if credit never came my way. But the irony grew sharp, razor sharp, when Elena used that very success to humiliate me. When she posted that success runs in the family, not everyone line, she wasn't just mocking me. She was mocking the very foundation under her feet. And here's the truth about foundations. When you pull them out, the whole house comes crashing down. The clock had already started ticking on her empire, and she had no idea who had lit the fuse. Monday morning broke gray and heavy, but my office was calm. I'd been up since dawn, reviewing contracts, sipping coffee in silence. At exactly 9 a.m., I authorized the transfers. $75 million pulled like a rug from under Elena's empire. At first, there was nothing, just the usual hum of my workday. But then, at 10:23 a.m., my phone buzzed. Elena. I let it ring out, and then her voicemail landed. Hey, hope you're having a good Monday. Weird thing, our investors are acting strange. Do you know anything about this? You're the finance genius. Maybe you can help me make sense of it. Call me back? Her tone was casual, almost cheerful. She still thought this was a clerical hiccup. By 11:47, the tone had shifted. Another voicemail, tighter, faster. Okay, this is crazy. Trinity Holdings just terminated our partnership, like completely. They want all their money back, $75 million. That's not even legal, right? Something's wrong. Please call me back. Her voice cracked on the word please. By 1:15 p.m., my voicemail was a diary of unraveling confidence. Each message a stage of grief, confusion, irritation, denial, then fear. All 3 investors pulled out. The same morning. This can't be a coincidence. Someone's targeting me. I need to know who's behind this. If you know anything, call me back. The desperation was starting to show, and that was just the beginning. At 2:30 p.m., my assistant's voice crackled over the intercom. Miss Rodriguez, your sister Elena is here. She says it's urgent. I set my pen down slowly. I'd imagined this moment, the collapse, the storm of panic finding its way to my door. And now, here it was. When she burst into my office, Elena didn't look like the polished entrepreneur queen from Instagram. Her hair was frayed, her mascara smudged, her blouse wrinkled like she'd been tugging at it for hours. She clutched a folder of documents like a shield, her knuckles bone white. Thank God, she gasped. I need your help. Someone is trying to destroy me. I gestured calmly to the chair across from my desk. Sit down, I said. Tell me everything. And as she spread those papers across my desk, the termination notices, the legal demands, the shredded contracts, I kept my expression steady. But inside I savored the justice that had finally begun to unfold. Elena spread the papers across my desk like a desperate gambler showing her losing hand. Logos from Trinity Holdings, Cascade Investments, and Meridian Capital stamped every page. The termination notices, the demands for repayment, clean, cold legal language. Her voice shook. They all pulled out, all 3 investors. $75 million. Gone. Just like that. My accountant says bankruptcy in 30 days if I can't cover the debt. This isn't normal. This has to be coordinated. Someone wants to destroy me. I lifted one of the notices, scanned the precise clauses. Patricia had prepared them flawlessly. Every sentence airtight, every signature final. This says they're exercising their right to withdraw with 30-day notice, I said calmly. That's standard in most agreements. Standard? Elena's voice pitched higher. There's nothing standard about 3 major firms pulling out the same morning. That's an attack. A competitor, maybe. Or someone jealous of me. Or, she looked at me sharply, eyes glinting. Someone who thinks I don't deserve what I've built. She leaned forward, whispering like she'd uncovered a conspiracy. Do you think it's Ashley? She's always hated me. Or Marcus? He pretends to be supportive, but he's been struggling with that restaurant of his. Someone in the family, maybe? I let her spin her theories, my silence filling the room heavier than any answer. Finally, I asked, in your Instagram post, you wrote success runs in the family. Not everyone. Who exactly did you mean by that? Her eyes flickered. It wasn't about anyone in particular. Just a general comment, you know. Some people are dreamers, some play it safe. Both have their place. You tagged me in that post. Her smile faltered. Because you're family. I tag all of you. And then you commented about dreamers and doers versus people who prefer steady paychecks. That wasn't about me? Elena shifted in her chair, cheeks flushing. I mean, you do like stability. That's not an insult. It's just who you are. I turned my laptop screen toward her. My portfolio dashboard glowed. Technology startups, real estate funds, equity holdings, private ventures. A number pulsed at the top. $892 million assets under management. Her breath caught. What is this? My portfolio. Her eyes scanned faster, lips moving as she read line after line. This says, you control Trinity Holdings, Cascade, Meridian. She looked up at me, face pale, lips trembling. Those are yours? I nodded. All of them. Every dollar that built your empire came from me. The silence between us cracked open like ice on a lake. Elena's mouth opened, but no sound came. For once, the woman who thrived on speeches, panels, and ribbon cuttings was utterly speechless. Her eyes darted across my screen again, as if sheer willpower could change the numbers glowing back at her. 800 million? She whispered, voice breaking on the syllables. Assets under management, I corrected. My personal net worth is closer to 430. Her chair creaked as she leaned back, one manicured hand clutching the folder of notices like a lifeline. Her empire, the boutiques she boasted about, the interviews she gave, the Instagram captions about being self-made, suddenly looked smaller than the marble paperweight on my desk. You funded me? She finally managed. All of it? Every lease, every expansion, every photo shoot you thought was paid for by a sophisticated investor in New York or Singapore, that investor was me. Her face drained of color. But why hide it? Why not tell me? Because I wanted you to succeed without the shadow of obligation, I said evenly. I believed in your idea. I thought, maybe if I gave you enough fuel, you'd take off. And you did. But then, I pointed to her phone still glowing with that infamous Instagram post. You used that flight to spit on the ground you took off from. Elena's breath came quick, shallow. She picked up the termination notice again, reading it like a death sentence. So, all 3 investors. They're you? Yes. And they're gone now. Her hand shook as she pressed her forehead. You've destroyed me. Why would you do this? I thought you wanted me to succeed. I did, I said softly. But not at the cost of watching you mock the very people who carried you there. You built boutiques with my money, Elena, then turned around and bragged about being self-made. And when family members praised you for being bold, you used it as a weapon to make me look small. That wasn't ambition. That was arrogance. Tears welled at the corners of her eyes, smudging her mascara. For the first time in years, I saw my sister not as the polished star on stage, but as a frightened woman watching her scaffolding collapse. You're saying I never built anything real? She whispered. I leaned forward. You built something, but you never built it alone. And until you admit that, until you understand what real success means, you all keep mistaking scaffolding for stone. Elena pressed her hands over her mouth, trembling. Outside my window, the city pulsed on. Billboards, neon lights, storefronts glowing like her boutiques once had. She stared at them like they were already slipping out of her grasp. The silence between us stretched long, broken only by the faint hum of my laptop fan. Elena's mascara-streaked eyes searched my face, desperate for a lifeline. But I gave her none. Instead, I reached for the heavy leather folder that sat on the edge of my desk, the one I'd been building quietly for 3 years. I laid it flat between us and slid it across the polished wood. Open it. Her fingers hesitated, trembling as though the binder itself carried a curse. Slowly, she flipped it open and froze. Page after page, neatly ordered, color-coded, and stamped with official seals. Wire transfer records, lease guarantees, marketing contracts, payroll subsidies, all signed under the banners of Trinity Holdings, Cascade Investments, Meridian Capital. Every line of ink tracing back to one simple truth. Her empire was mine. Elena's lips parted. This can't be real. It's as real as those boutiques you keep bragging about, I said evenly. The ones you said were proof of your genius. Every brick, every chandelier, every silk blouse hanging on a rack, it all exists because I paid for it. She flipped another page, her hands moving faster now, desperation rising with each detail. No, there must be some mistake. Patricia, my accountant, she knew, I cut in. She worked for me first. Every quarterly report you celebrated, every growth chart you waved around at interviews, she sent to me before she sent it to you. I was your silent partner, Elena, the silent architect. Her breath quickened, ragged now. She jabbed a trembling finger at one page. $15 million in inventory financing. That was supposed to be from Meridian. It was. I leaned forward. And Meridian is me. The room thickened with truth. Elena's face crumpled, and she dropped her gaze, staring down at numbers she couldn't refute. And then, I pulled out the transcript, printed in clean black ink, highlighted in yellow. Elena's own words from her engagement party, recorded without her knowing. She squinted at the page, then read it aloud under her breath. She's the emergency fund, the backup account. Her voice cracked. That's what you said about me, Elena. To your friends, your fiancé, your investors. You reduced me to a line item, a safety net you could mock while walking on it. Her hands shook violently now. She let the transcript slip from her fingers, fluttering to the floor like ash. You're destroying me, she whispered. You'll ruin me in front of everyone. No, I said, voice steady as stone. You destroyed yourself the moment you chose vanity over gratitude. I'm just showing you the receipts. Elena buried her face in her palms, sobbing quietly. But the collapse wasn't finished. Not yet. Because receipts have a way of traveling, and mine weren't meant to stay hidden. The call came 2 nights later. Family dinner, mandatory, Sunday at 6. That was my father's voice, clipped and heavy, the same tone he used when announcing punishments in childhood. Only now I wasn't the one waiting for judgment. Elena was. When I arrived, the dining room was already full. Crystal glasses glittered under the chandelier, silverware gleamed on the linen tablecloth. But beneath all that shine, the air reeked of tension. Elena sat at the far end, her posture wilted, mascara smeared faintly beneath her eyes. My father sat at the head, jaw clenched, a glass of bourbon sweating in his grip. As I took my seat, I noticed the curious glances darting across the table. Cousins whispering, an uncle frowning at his phone. My aunt folding her napkin too many times. Something had already leaked. Dad slammed his glass down, the sound cracking the silence. What's this I hear about Elena's investors pulling out? Elena shifted in her chair, eyes darting to me. It's a misunderstanding. Temporary. A clerical error. Stop! My voice cut through the room like glass breaking. Every face turned toward me. I placed the leather folder on the table, the same one Elena had flipped through in my office. Slowly, deliberately, I opened it. Pages rustled, numbers gleamed under the soft light. Misunderstanding? I repeated. No. This is truth. Every boutique, every so-called empire, built with money I provided. Quietly, anonymously. While the family cheered for Elena, they were really cheering for me. They just didn't know it. Gasps broke out like sparks. My cousin Derek leaned forward. Wait, you're saying you funded her? Yes, $75 million, across 3 years. And while I kept her business alive, she mocked me online as the one who didn't inherit the entrepreneurial gene. I slid the transcript across the table, the highlighted words staring up like a guilty verdict. She's the emergency fund, the backup account. Silence crashed down. Then whispers swelled, sharp and cutting. My aunt murmured, "So that's what you really thought of her?" Another cousin shook his head. Unbelievable. Elena's face drained of color. She tried to speak, but her voice cracked. I didn't mean... But Dad's booming voice drowned her out. You humiliated your sister while spending her fortune? Do you know what this makes us look like? I didn't flinch. It makes you look exactly as you are, a family that praised one child while erasing the other, and tonight everyone gets to see the receipts. Elena's tears slid silently down her cheeks, but no one rushed to comfort her. Not this time. The golden child's shine had cracked and all her admirers saw the rust underneath. And yet, this wasn't the end. Because public exposure was only the first strike. The next would be survival, and Elena had 30 days before everything collapsed. 3 days after the family dinner, Elena showed up at my office again. No grand entrance this time, no frantic folder clutched to her chest. She looked smaller. Shoulders slumped, her hair tied back hastily, her designer heels scuffed like she'd been pacing city blocks without direction. I can't stop it, she whispered as soon as she stepped inside. Her voice was raw like sandpaper. Suppliers are demanding payments up front. Landlords are calling in guarantees. Employees are asking if they'll still have jobs next month. I can't fix this on my own. I gestured to the chair. She sat, trembling fingers clutching the armrests as if she might slide off without them. Elena, I began slowly, you built a business worth saving, but you've also burned every bridge that made it possible. Her eyes darted to me, wet and desperate. Then help me rebuild them. Please, I'll do whatever it takes. Just don't let me lose everything. I leaned back, studying her face. For once, there was no bravado, no arrogance, only fear. Whatever it takes? I asked. She nodded. Yes, anything. I pulled out a fresh contract. The paper glowed white under the desk lamp, each clause like a blade waiting to cut. Here are the terms, I said, sliding it toward her. 1. Public acknowledgement. You will issue a statement, online, in print, and on stage, that your boutiques were made possible by family investment, by my investment. Her mouth opened, then closed again. The pride she'd lived on for years was crumbling. 2. Platform redirection. You'll use your spotlight to amplify others. No more mocking comparisons. Instead, highlight Marcus's restaurants, Derek's tech, even smaller local businesses struggling to be seen. Your platform won't be a pedestal. It will be a bridge. 3. Mentorship program. Through your boutiques, you'll launch internships for students with no access to capital or family wealth. You will give opportunities to people who remind you of the version of me you ignored. Elena's lips trembled. She traced the contract with her finger, as though the ink itself carried a sentence she couldn't outrun. And the last condition, I said quietly. You delete the post. Her eyes snapped to mine. The Instagram post? Yes, the one where you mocked me, the one that poisoned everything. For a long moment, the office filled only with the hum of the heater. Then Elena pulled out her phone. With one shaky breath, she opened Instagram, scrolled to the caption that had set her downfall in motion, and pressed delete. The room seemed to exhale with her. She signed the contract, her signature dragging like it weighed 1,000 pounds. When she pushed the papers back to me, her voice cracked. Are we still sisters? I held the contract between us, its ink still drying. We're not just sisters now. We're partners. And this time, you'll learn what real success looks like. 2 days later, Elena stood on a stage she'd once owned with ease. Spotlights burned hot on her skin, but tonight the heat wasn't power. It was pressure. Rows of journalists, investors, customers, even employees filled the boutique's flagship store, their eyes sharp, waiting for answers. Her phone buzzed in her hand. My text glowed on the screen. Stick to the truth. Don't soften it. She looked up, cleared her throat, and began. 3 years ago, I believed I was building an empire alone, she said, voice trembling but steadying with each word. But that wasn't the truth. My boutiques exist because of silent partners who gave me capital when I didn't even believe I deserved it. The room shifted, cameras clicking like typewriters. My sister. Elena's voice cracked. She swallowed, forcing herself forward. Was the one who believed in me when no one else did. She funded my expansion. Every lease, every campaign, every new store was made possible by her support. And I used that success to mock the very person who made it possible. A murmur rippled through the audience. Some eyebrows shot up. Others nodded, almost relieved to hear honesty. I was arrogant, she continued. I posted about how success runs in the family, but not everyone. I made it sound like some of us were born superior, while others were failures. I tagged my sister in that post, the sister who actually built the foundation under my business. I can't take back those words, but I can change what I build from here. She gestured to the new banner behind her. Elena's Boutiques, Fashion with Purpose. Starting today, we're launching a mentorship program for young entrepreneurs. We'll open internships, training, and resources for people with ideas, but no access to capital. We'll highlight not only my work, but the work of my family and community, the restaurants, tech startups, housing projects that make us stronger together. The room erupted, some clapping, some skeptical whispers, others typing furiously into live blogs. One journalist raised her hand. Isn't this just damage control? A PR stunt to save your sinking company? Elena inhaled sharply. For a split second, her confidence wavered. Then she leaned into the mic. No, it's accountability. And if you don't believe me, watch what we do next. Judge us by the opportunities we create, not the captions we post. Applause broke through, hesitant at first, then louder. Cameras flashed. Employees exchanged glances that weren't skeptical anymore. They were hopeful. I watched from the side, arms crossed, feeling something I hadn't in years when it came to Elena. Cautious pride. She was learning, finally. But redemption in the public eye was never guaranteed. And as Elena stepped down from the stage, her phone vibrated again, an anonymous message that read, "Not everyone forgives. Some of us want payback." The anonymous message burned on Elena's phone screen like a warning flare. Not everyone forgives. Some of us want payback. For a moment, the old Elena surfaced, the one who panicked when control slipped through her fingers. Her hands trembled, her breath caught. But this time she didn't spiral alone. She looked at me. "They're right," she whispered. "Some people will never forgive me. Not after how I acted." I placed a steady hand on her shoulder. "You don't need everyone's forgiveness. You need to earn your own." That night, we sat together and combed through her company's records, emails, contracts, every decision that might be twisted into ammunition. The deeper we dug, the clearer it became. Her arrogance had been public, but her operations had stayed clean. There were no skeletons, no fraud, no hidden thefts. Just one glaring flaw, her ego. The next morning, a gossip blog tried to spin her confession into scandal. Elena Rodriguez admits sister secretly owned her boutiques. Is she even a real entrepreneur? The headline screamed betrayal. The comment section poured venom. But instead of denying it, Elena reposted it with her own caption. "Yes, my sister was my investor. She saved my dream before anyone else believed in it. If that makes me less of an entrepreneur, so be it. What makes me proud today is building something that now serves more than just me." The internet paused, and then something remarkable happened. Employees, customers, even rival designers started defending her. Accountability, perfection. This is how you grow. More brands should be this honest. The tide shifted. Not overnight, not completely, but enough. Enough to prove that transformation was possible. Elena didn't erase her past arrogance. She reframed it, turned it into proof that failure of character didn't have to be permanent. And in doing so, she safeguarded her boutiques, not with my money this time, but with something far rarer in business: humility. I watched her on that final press day, shoulders squared, voice steady, no longer performing for the spotlight, but speaking like someone who'd finally seen the truth. And I realized something too. This wasn't just her redemption. It was mine. Because for years I'd hidden behind shell companies, silent investments, quiet power. Now I'd stepped into the open, not to take her place, but to claim my own worth without hiding. That night, as the boutique's lights dimmed and the crowd dispersed, Elena turned to me. "We're not just sisters anymore," she said. "We're partners." I smiled. "No, Elena, we're something better. We're equals." The balance was finally restored. Success without gratitude is just vanity dressed in profits. True success is measured not by how high you climb alone, but by how many people you lift with you. What about you? Have you ever seen someone take all the credit while hiding the truth of who really helped them succeed? Tell me in the comments. I read every single one. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe for more stories like this, and share it with someone who needs to hear it today.